Hello everyone, welcome to Suprema Technical Training of Suprema Connect 2020. This is Kate Yu, in charge of technical support at Suprema. In this session, I'm going to explain about FaceStation 2 with temperature detection. First, we will briefly see the specifications of FaceStation 2 with thermal detection. Second, we will see key features. And then lastly, we will see how to use, and I'm going to show you short videos to help your understanding. How do you usually allow your visitors entries? Registered users usually scan their card or biometric information to enter. And unregistered users such as visitors, they just simply ask employees to open the door for them. However, now, as you might understand very well, because of COVID-19, many things have been changed. One of the big changes is temperature check. We are required temperature check to enter the buildings or facilities. Then, how do you check the temperature of your employees and visitors to allow their entry? I think you have two ways for the entrance. The first way is that all the staffs and visitors should measure the temperature with contactless thermometer. After checking the temperature, the facilities manager should record each temperature data, which takes a lot of time and which could be very annoying. And the other way is using thermal scanning camera near the entrance. This camera will check the temperature of all staffs and visitors. In this case, each temperature will be automatically recorded, which will be convenient to record the data. However, in this case, it is very difficult to compare the user information between the thermal detection system and the existing access control system. Is there any better solution to support access control time attendance, temperature check alarm? I would like to introduce you the FaceStation 2 with thermal detection solution, which has these four amazing features. Suprema FaceStation 2 with temperature detection combines Suprema's face recognition terminal with Suprema Thermal Camera to detect users with elevated skin temperature. To check the elevated skin temperature, you only need two devices. One is FaceStation 2 and other one is Suprema Thermal Camera. Then you can combine FaceStation 2 and Suprema Thermal Camera to check visitors and employees' temperature. Please take a look on the bottom of the page. Suprema Thermal Camera can identify individuals with skin temperature higher than a preset figure. But it should not be solely relied upon to diagnose or exclude a diagnosis of COVID-19 or any other disease. This is Suprema Thermal Camera for FaceStation 2. The part code is TCM10FS2. It consists of Suprema Thermal Camera with a bracket and USB cable. Please be aware that it doesn't include FaceStation 2 device and the steel bracket of FaceStation 2. Temperature accuracy is plus minus 0.5 degrees in Celsius. You can connect TCM10FS2 to USB port of FaceStation 2. The compatible firmware of FaceStation 2 is version 1.4 or above version. Router 2.8.6 or above version can configure the device and monitor the temperature. Let's move on. This shows the image of FaceStation 2 and TCM10FS2 connected together. This is Suprema Thermal Camera on the top of FaceStation 2. These are the amazing features of FaceStation 2 device. FaceStation 2 supports RF card and mobile access. It has 4-inch touch LCD and supports VoIP interpol. The key feature of FaceStation 2 is that it has IR camera and visual camera. It's for IR-based face recognition and image log. For self-calibration, please power the unit for 1.5 hours before using to detect the temperature. Let's see the temperature measurement technology. Suprema Thermal Camera uses thermographic sensor and thermographic imaging. With a high-resolution thermal camera and infrared camera, Suprema solution accurately measure temperature with plus-minus 0.5 degrees in Celsius of error range. What is thermographic sensor? For your understanding, I will simply compare thermographic product with thermophile product. With thermophile method to check the temperature, the thermophile product uses single measurement point. On the other hand, with the thermographic method, it uses millions of data points to check the temperature, which is very accurate measurement for temperature checking, and also thermographic method provides much faster screening time compared to thermophile method. Let's see how it works. By default, the FaceStation 2 with temperature detection checks the elevated skin temperature from the forehead of a user. Then it will see whether the scanned temperature is less than the threshold temperature or not. The range of skin temperature detection from face can adjust. I'm going to explain the features of FaceStation 2 with thermal detection. These main features support with TCM10 FS2. One of temperature type is configurable. It will affect the display message with the temperature and the low data record. You can plus or minus the temperature result with the skin temperature correction setting if you want to adjust the skin temperature from the TCM10 FS2. Without user authentication, the device checks the temperature data only, or you can set the temperature check mode with user authentication. User authentication and temperature check are required to access the door. Thermal camera configuration is easy to set. You can set up thermal camera to both of device menu and power status menu as follows. Let's take a look at supported operation modes. Between user authentication and the temperature check, you can choose whether temperature check starts first or not. Supported user authentication ways are same as FaceStation 2 functions. If you are not going to user authentication, use user authentication, you can choose check temperature only mode. The authentication after temperature check mode is the device check temperature first, whether temperature data is under pre-configured threshold or not. If the temperature is higher than the threshold, the device shows the exceed threshold message. It doesn't authenticate the user information further. Please take a look at the video. In general, the device authenticates user information without temperature check.
Access granted. Enter your face and
The device authenticates the registered user information once the skin temperature is under threshold temperature with Suprema Thermal Camera.
measure temperature. Enter your access granted. Access granted.
To show the exceed threshold temperature, I prepared hot water and put it in front of my forehead. You can see the device indicate exceed threshold temperature. The device doesn't go to user authentication step because my temperature was higher than the threshold. What about authentication before temperature check mode? FaceStation 2 will authenticate the user information first and then check the temperature of the user. You can simply change the check mode to the device mode menu directly. With this option, you can know all temperature data from authentication result, even though the user has higher temperature than the threshold because the first step is user authentication, and the device records the log data. Let's see.
Enter your face. Call access granted. Access granted. Exceeded threshold temperature.
Last operation mode is the check temperature only mode. Registered users can access after the device checks the user temperature only. Depends on the temperature data result, the device will allow to access the door.
Enter your access granted. Access granted. Access granted. Exceeded threshold temperature. Exceeded threshold temperature.
It means unregistered users, such as visitors, can access the door once FaceStation 2 checks the user temperature. This video shows deleting all users and then testing check temperature only for unregistered user.
Enter your face and measure to access granted. Access granted. Exceeded threshold temperature. Access granted. Exceeded threshold temperature.
Plus, users with wearing mask can enter after FaceStation 2 with thermal cameras checks user temperature.
Enter your face and access granted. Access granted. Access granted.
From this progress, FaceStation 2 with thermal detection can store temperature data and make image logs. Also, you can make an alarm to notify the system administrator, such as email and siren, for a pre-configured log event. You can monitor user authentication and temperature detection to Barta 2 software. On the left of bottom of the real-time monitoring page, Barta 2 shows the image log whenever there are configured event logs to make image logs. Barta 2 can indicate the alert pop-up when there is exceed threshold temperature. You can export logs with temperature data via CSV file export of Barta2 monitoring menu. In settings of Barta2, you can also configure actions for the relevant log event of temperature detection. You can also configure email alert to here. I will show you that part to the end of this presentation. In settings of Barta2, you can also configure actions for the relevant log event of temperature detection. You can also configure email alert to here. Barta2 supports independent trigger and action per device. Please note that FaceStation 2 has one single relay. If you need to connect a door lock and connect warning light with Suprema system, please add an external I/O device such as a Secure I/O 2 or DM20. Let me explain the ways of integration for FaceStation 2 with Suprema Thermal Camera. Suprema provides two types of free software development kit to assist customers' Barta2 device integration. Barta2 device integration is suitable to develop an independent application with a third-party software database without Barta2 software. You can have the temperature data of the users in log information from Barta2 device SDK. Plus, if you would like to configure operation mode or trigger an action, which I explained to the previous pages, you can also set it through Barta2 software functions. Like Barta2 device SDK, you can also integrate FaceStation 2 to third-party system with Suprema G SDK. Available integration methods on third-party system are same to Barta2 device SDK. Third-party system can have the recorded temperature data from the logged information of the connected device. Supported functions of Suprema G SDK are less than Barta2 device SDK now, but various programming languages are supported to Suprema G SDK. The release date of Barta2 device SDK and G SDK is at the beginning of October at least. Please contact Suprema Tech team for further inquiries. Or you can have another option. It's Barta2 RESTful APIs. You can call Barta2 local APIs to get the log data with the recorded temperature of the user to third-party software. If you are looking for linking Barta2 DB to get the temperature data and the user punch log, please refer to the relevant log table information of Barta2. Temperature data is stored in log tables. For DB integration, there are some preparations. Please discuss with Suprema team in advance. I'm going to show short videos to help your understanding. Without Barta2 software, you can configure operation modes and thermal camera setting into device menu. Let's watch the video. Press the menu icon from the top on the left, then you can enter the device menu. Please enable the option voice instruction to help better understanding of users. To activate thermal detection, go to device and thermal camera. Once you enable the thermal camera, you can set the temperature detection mode and other settings. You can set threshold temperature to allow entry in accordance with the threshold temperature. From camera configuration, you can set skin temperature correction too. You can see the temperature detection result with infrared image and see the result of under threshold temperature. and the result of exceed threshold temperature in accordance with the threshold temperature.
Enter your face access granted. Enter your face and measure temperature. Exceeded threshold temperature.
Same configuration of device menu can set to Barta2 software. Furthermore, you can configure trigger connection and activate the image log option. This is the initial setting steps. Click the device and go to Advanced. You can set trigger and action here and choose actions to make an output signal or device sound. I set for the access denied event. There are two events for the temperature detection. I set two events for access denied, exceed threshold temperature. Then you can also set the image log part to store the image in accordance with this relevant event. And there is an option for thermal camera. Enable that and then check the temperature mode. And you can also set the threshold temperature. Plus, you can set skin temperature correction too. To store image log to Barta2, you should enable image log to settings to configure the events to store image logs. I set access denied, check temperature only, and I set access denied, exceed threshold temperature. Plus, go to alert for making a pop-up of Barta2. Same event. For email alert output signal configuration, go to trigger and action. You can select access denied for temperature check. Output signal configuration is available to use. Sending an email for access denied, you can also configure. And then lastly, you can export the log data to CSV file from Barta2 monitoring. Next is monitoring to Barta2 software. You can check the transaction log with temperature data in real time, and Barta2 can also make an alert pop-up when there is exceed threshold temperature. This video includes showing infrared image and exceed threshold temperature. This is for the access granted with temperature check only mode. And you can see the thermal infrared image on the left side, or you can select the option to disable the showing infrared image. This is for a test scenario to show exceed threshold temperature. I set 35 degrees in Celsius. And then there's an alert when there's access denied, check temperature only. Alright, I hope that this training could be helpful to understand FaceStation 2 with temperature detection. Lastly, I would like to inform you Suprema FaceStation F2 with thermal and mask detection. FaceStation F2 meets the needs of the post-pandemic world with features like remote user enrollment, detection of users without mask, and face recognition of users wearing masks. When combined with Suprema Thermal Camera, FaceStation 2 F2 can identify people with elevated skin temperature. This is the end of this technical training. Thank you so much.